Today we are discuss about reading thematic maps. Reading thematic maps. We'll continue with the reading and analysis of maps. First one, who are the prepared the map that like a world map. Next one, like a Sumerians, Babylonians, Greeks, and European, Chinese, Idrisi, Ptolemy, like that. There is a number of that people also there. And that like a we are discussed that reading thematic maps, reading, reading, reading thematic, thematic maps, reading thematic maps. What is a thematic map? What is a thematic maps? So information, particular information. For example, like a political map site. Political map site, we studied about that like a states and capital, also that like a mandal also right. Mandal map, districts maps are like a village panchayat level map site. So these are all like a thematic maps, thematic map site. So you saw about that like the maps, not just showing that like a name of the places and a distinction between them. They can also use that like a different kinds of that like a information, like a nature of that like a terrain, hilly, rock, plain, etc. Economic activities of people, language spoken, literacy, etc. Usually maps focused on only one aspect. Usually the maps usually usually the maps focused on only the maps focused on only one aspect, only one aspect. So this is called this is called thematic map. This is called thematic map. Thematic thematic maps. Okay, so focused on only one aspect, focused on only one aspects. So for example, like a political maps, example, political map, political map. Political maps can show that like a only like a how is that like a that states, and next one that like a districts, next one that like a states map, district map, district map, mandal map, mandal map. So municipalities. So like this, these are the example of thematic maps focused on only political aspects. Political aspects. So that's why we are called that like a these are that like a thematic map site. So here some are that like a physical map is shown that like a mountain, rivers, plateaus, etc. Some are that like a lands use the map which is show that how the people use the land. For example, a part of village land may be used to for that like a patches for raising that like a fern crops in rise in the cash crops like a cotton, while some parts of maybe reserved for that like a residence school, place of that like a worshipping, and so on there. So here there some maps like they show on that like a mountains, hills, plateaus, plains, and also that like a plains like a where they that are crops growing there. What type of the crops they are that growing in there? The areas according to north, south, coastal areas, okay, like plateau areas. So like this particular aspects we show on that like a we focused on particular aspects. So the type of that like a thematic guide example of that like a political or like a geographical guide like that maps also guide. For example here they given that like a this when the make of the map show that like a land is that like a village we will leave the different kinds of that like a symbols colors and patterns should also that like a each separately. Map makers also Jay. Map makers, map makers to show the places, places are things, places are the things with the help of with uh, yes map makers to show that like a places are things with the help of symbols. Symbols. In previous classes, at like a seventh class, we learned that like a yes symbols. We use that like a symbols also there. Okay, colors. Colors also there. Colors. Colors. For example, that like a yes forest. What is that? Forest that like a yes dark green. Dark yes green. Dark green like a yes completely that like a this is that like a yes dark green to represent that like a yes forest and like a yellow color next one yellow color on map day cropped cropped area like a and another one that like a yes light green grasslands brown like a yes height of the places also there mountains so they use it like a, these types of that like a colors also there green forest light green or that like a yes grasslands and like a yellow color yes that is the purpose that like a yellow color to represent that like a cropped area right and also yes brown color that is also to show the mountains even in that like in atlas also we say that like a, the brown color to represent mountains brown color to represent that like a mountains and also light red like a yes wasteland and like a yes so these are that like a white also there black also there the map makers how they are that like use the symbols while preparing that like a maps also there they use that like a colors also there to show that like a different yes places. Okay, so this is a so in representation of that like a various socio-economic aspects, details, we can use the technique of map pattern like a point, symbol, lines also. And like a example of that like a yes symbols, symbols. point, line, point, line, symbols, symbols, point, line. For example, that like a they give that like a yes in sixth class also that we give that like a symbol. What is it? Yes, this is also to represent that like a yes church. What is that? Church, and also that like a yes, this is also that like a this is a temple, temple like that. They are also to that like a use the symbols also there. Point, point. Yes, this is that like a the yes point. The point on point. Okay, point and like a yes line also there. We use that like a yes symbols. While preparing is map side. While preparing map side. So the quantity data can be represented by that like a dot method, circle, graph, charts also in stipulated thematic map shading that like a use the yes pattern day. So here some areas also they give that like a circles also there. Some areas also they shaded that like a yes places also there. Okay, some also they use that like yes, graphs also, charts also. Yeah. Okay, so this is that like a yes, thematic maps, thematic maps. So here, thematic maps only particularly they are focused on that like a one aspects about that like any like example of that like a political and next one that like they use that like the map makers also they use that like symbols, particular symbols, and also they use that like yes colors also there. Symbols and colors. Okay, and also they use it like a line also, point also, symbol also, like the to identify that like a places. It is very easily. That is the purpose. They are that like a use that symbol, point, and line there. Next one, make a population map. Make a population make a population map. Next topic, make a population map. How to make the population map? For example, in include that how many yes people live in that like in Incoluja. How do we know that like these information right? Yes, with the help of that like a population map also. Yes, we are easily to tell about that like the population of Incolude. According to what points also here, Jay. For example, the draw a sketch map of your school showing the different classroom. Find out that like a number of the students in each class and put down one small line for every five students of that like a class. This is your that like a population map of your school. In sixth class, you draw that like a sketch of your classroom. You mentioned that like a yes, that like a wall also, and that like a door also, benches also, right? Blackboard, chair, fan, lights also, each and everything you are that like a drawing your classroom map. Classroom map day. So each bench for example, that like a yes, eighth class. For example, eighth class, there is a yes, there is a 10 benches, or that like 11 or that like a 20 benches. Each benches they provided like a yes, three students, three student. So like that, the classroom put on that like a small line for every five students of that like a class. One equal to that like a yes, five. One line. Next one, two, three, four. Like for example, like a yes, this is that like a yes classroom, right? This is the classroom. This is a like here there is a yes benches also, right? There is a yes benches or that like a yes, this is the benches. These are the benches. Like here, there is a yes blackboard also there. Here all that like a yes students. Here the students like a yes one day. So we are given that like a yes one day. We give that like a one line also there. One line. So here the number of students in each class and put on that like a one small line for every five students of that like a class. This is your population map of your school. So one classroom, for example, like a here that like a one classroom, one line, two classroom there, two lines. Next three classroom there, three lines. So like that to draw that like a line. So that is called that like a population map there. Population map. So this is how do we know that like a yes how also be shown on that like a that map to that like a shading there. We use that like a colors also there. We use it like a for example that like a this is that like a Andhra Pradesh map there. Andhra Pradesh yes map. Here that like this is Srikakulam, Vizianagaram, like a Vishakhapatnam that. And next one, East Godavari, West Godavari, yes, Krishna, like some areas side. So here there is a, yes, Krishna. Based on that like a 2011 yes that a high density of that like a population district in Andhra Pradesh there yes Krishna here there is a yes 508 people per square kilometer. So a population can be shown on a map through that like a shading. These are called that like a population density map. The population population can also be can also be can also be shown on a map shown on a map through shading through shading. This is called population density map. These maps are called population population density population density maps. We use that like a different shading also. Like here the light color, here that like a yes light color here Jack. And like here that like a very thick color also Jack. And also that like here the some yes points also Jack. So this is shown that like a yes population like a yes 250 to 500 or that this is also that like a to shown on that like a yes 100 to 250 And next color, this is also 0 to that like a yes 100% for square kilometer. So like that we are that like a shading there. So the population can be also shown on a map there through shading. Through that like a yes shading. So these maps are called a population density there. We use that like a here one color there, another color there, another color also there. Here thick, light and very light. These thick color to show that like a yes high density there. Below 500, above that like a 200, 250 population per square kilometer there. And next one that like a next color is that like a to show that like a 100 to 250. Next color like a 0 to 100 there. So we are understanding the particular regions when we are shading these colors also there. Means we are understanding. So light color there, full light color there. Yes, there is a population density per square kilometer only. Yes, 0 to 100%. Where there is a thick color there, thick color. Example of that like today and was that like a high density of population district in Andhra Pradesh there. Yes, Vishakhapatnam there. So that is a high density of population district. But there is a yes square 508 more than like a 508 per square kilometer. So that's why here the map makers also they are use that like a colors also Jai. So they were the measured the total. First we are estimated that like a total number of the people living in a place. Then measure the total area of that like a place. Then divided into the number of that like a people by area of that like a place. So this is that like a population density. Population density there. Total area measured measured like a measured total area divided by population population. So we find that like a population density. This is called population density. Population. For example, that like a in Incolage, this is that like a totally the area also that like a square kilometers that like a 10 square kilometers right. But here that like a population that like a 5,000 population there. Now we are divided by that like a this is also there like a 10 kilometers right. 5,000 by that like a 10 there. So here 5 10 5 15. We had to that like a yes per square kilometer here there is a 500 people there. So this is called that like a population density. The total area divided by that like a population divided by yes population. So here if I estimated the total number of that like a people in living area there, then we can measure the total area of that place, then divided it the number of that like a people that area that is called that like a yes population density. And we are also understanding that like a per square kilometer how many people yes living in that like a Inkollu or that like a Andhra Pradesh or that like a yes any district also there. Easily we are find out that like a yes population density there. Population density. First we are measured that like a particular area there. The area and how many members they are living there. That is also divided by that like a this one day. We find out that like a population density. So the population density of that like a village is 100 per square kilometer, By using that like a same method can be find out that like a density of population of entire the state. See the following like a yes here, for example, they given that like a yes in textbook also Jay. Like a here the state population density Jay. Based on that like a here Jay. Okay, yes, Andhra Pradesh 308 population density. Arunachal Pradesh 17, Assam 397, Bihar 1102 there. And also next one that like a where there is a West Bengal 1030. Why there is a variation between that like a Bihar and that like a yes Arunachal Pradesh? Bihar is located in that like a, why we are find that like a high density of the population state in that like a yes India right? Why there is a yes Arunachal Pradesh is that like a low density of the population state there. So Arunachal Pradesh located in that like a hilly area and that like a Bihar is that like a located in that like a plain area. So plain is a fertile land. Plain is a flat land. Plains are that like a yes, develop that like a agriculture also there. But hilly area, there is no development of that like a agriculture. There is no proper facilities. So that's why people they are not selected that like a yes, Arunachal Pradesh. Most of the people they are selected to live in like a yes, Bihar. So that's why there is a yes high density of the population state in Bihar in India there. In Kadapa are that like a yes Vishakhapatnam there. Kadapa is that like a low density district in Andhra Pradesh there. Vizag is that like a high density of that like a population district in Andhra Pradesh. Compare with that like a Kadapa and that like a yes Vishakhapatnam there. Vishakhapatnam there is a number of that like a industries also, airport also, that like a coastal areas also there and like a river facility also there, lot of good water, climatic conditions also, agriculture also there. That is that located in like a coastal region, but in that like a Kadapa there. This is that like in Rayalaseema. Amazing. That is located in like a plateau region there. Plateau region. We know that very well the plateaus are consists of that like a rocks also. There. Some areas only to use that like a the land for agriculture purpose only. There. But here most of the land used for that like agriculture there. We find the plains here there. That's why many people they chose live in that like a Vizag. Okay, this is a variation. There is a yes variation. History also, place also right, facilities also right. So after examining that all, we selected that like which is the better one, and we have to leave that like that places only there. Like there's so many people they are migrated there. So many people they are that like yes lazy. When they are lazy, slowly that like yes district population also that like yes extensively grow there. Okay, so here they mentioned that like a four colors here that the geograph map makers also right 0 to 250, 251 to that like a 500 and a thousand above thousand above like a yellow color like a 0 to 250 here the 0 to 250 that example of that like a Arunachal Pradesh is one of that like a example that and next one that like a yes Himachal Pradesh also 123 123 that and also next one like a here the next one 122 Manipur and next one Meghalaya Mizoram and next one Nagaland. Okay, so these are all like a low density areas. Above that, like a, yes, they use that like a brown color also. Above the thousand, only two states. Bihar 1100, West Bengal is that like a yes thousand. Okay, that's why the high density of that like a population state in India is Bihar, and next one is that like a low density of that like a population state in India is Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, Arunachal Pradesh, hilly area, and like a Bihar. It's a plenty of available of that like a facilities also there. Next, conventional symbols on a map. Conventional symbols. Conventional symbols. Conventional symbols on maps. So, conventional symbols. The map maker, every map maker also, they use it like a general, their own symbols. General symbols. Convention means that like a general symbols. So here, the survey of India, that George Everest, that like a George Renal also. Yesterday we are discussed about that like a, this one also. They use that like a yes conventional symbols. While map maker usually use their own symbols. Some symbols are used in that like a conventional by most map maker. In India, we use that like a follow the conventional used by the Survey of India. See, for example, that like a conventional symbols given below the topo sheet. Like a here the common symbols. Conventional symbols means conventional symbols conventional symbols means common symbols common common symbol. Every map maker also they are use common common symbol. Example of that like a town and village as evidence is like a yes desert like this they use a that map makers also they are that like a use these symbols and next one it like a yes mountains like a temporary or that like a tower that's one the temple church mosque or like a Eidgah tomb now these are also that like a showing like a yes this type of that. Okay, so every map maker they use the common symbols, general symbols. Next one, representation of that like a relief. Representation. Next one, next one, representation of next topic, representation, representation of relief features features on maps. So relief features in sixth class also we are learning different kinds of that like a landforms also we are discussed in sixth class. So reliefs like a mountains, plains, plateaus, water bodies, forests, soils. These are all like a deserts. These are all that like a yes relief features. How we are that like a to represent that? How we will show that like a these relief features on that like a yes map Jay. Relief features on that like a yes map. Relief features mean that the high and low places of that like a surface of earth. Relief, relief features relief features mean the high and low, the high and low. Okay, mountains, they are very high there, and like a plains also, yes, there is a low there. Plateaus, more than height to that like a plain side. Mountains, yes, there's mountains are that like a very high than to that like a, yes, hills are that like a plateaus and plain side. So to measure, what is it? That like the relief features mean high and low places of surface of that like a edge. Places places on the surface of the on the on the surface of the earth. For example, that like in India, Himalayas, and like yes, Peninsular Plateau, coastal plains, Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats. They're all equal height there. No, they different heights. Himalayas are that like a very high also there. And next one that like a Western Ghats also, Eastern Ghats also. Yes, the plateau also, coastal plain also there. Okay, different heights. Some places are that like a high there. Some places are that like a low areas also there. Okay, so here these the main relief features are that like a hilly valleys, plateaus, plains, river basin, rocky and sandy places. Since the map are flat, we cannot show that like a height on them. We therefore use that like a special symbols for this called that like a contour or that like a contour lines. So how do we show that like a these height of that like a yes mountain, hills, valleys, or that like a yes plains on a flat paper? Is it possible that how they show that like a these places high and that like a low areas on a flat paper there? Yes, they use the map makers also there. Example, hill, mountains, mountains, plateau, plain, and a plain. So since the maps are flat, we cannot show that like the height on that like a map jam. We therefore use the special map makers. Map makers use map makers use special symbols. Special symbols. Special symbols on the flat map to show them to show high and low places. Low places. They use that like a what is it? Symbols. They use a yes symbol. So these are called that like a contour lines. These are called these are called the symbols for this is called that like a contour lines. Counters are that like a contour lines. Contours lines. This is called that like a yes contours lines. Example of that like a yes. This is that like a flat paper jet. We see that like a this is here that like a this is that like a water bodies like this. Water that this is like a ocean also there. We see the Uh, like this. This is, and also like here. So here we draw that like a lines also from starting here to yes here there. This is that like a yes hilly areas and mountain and like a yes areas also there. Okay, so this is that like a yes that the main sea level here that like a zero, that a 1 2 meters 3 meters, or that like a 5 meters 10 meters 20, or that like a 50, or that like a yes we are that like a give that like a numbers also there. So this is that like the bottom portion is that like a 5 meters. Next one that like a yes this is the total height of that like a yes height of that like a this mountain or that like a this hill that like a this 10 kilometers. So like that we show that like the height of that like a place is on a flat paper. On a flat paper we show like this with the help of counter lines. With the help of counter lines, in seventh class also you learned counter lines are counter lines on a map joining the places of that like a same height. Counter lines, counter counter lines on map joining places of same height, places of same height. So this is called that like a contour. Example of that like a yes here there. These are the contour lines. Contour lines there. So what is the use of that like a, these contour lines there? Yes, we show that like a the height of that like a places on a flat paper there. Okay, is it that like a low areas or that like a high areas there? How do we know that? Yes, with the help of contour lines there. So the map makers also to show that like a height and low areas on a flat paper that while preparing map they use that like a these contour lines. This contour lines there. So previously how they use it like point also, line also, some special symbols, some common symbols. They use these lines also there. Measure that like a height of that like a place is. So the contour line joining a places with that some common features the same equal distance between that like a these lines. Contour lines are usually drawn a fixed interval of that like a height such as 20 meters, 50 meters, 100 meters uniform that contour interval that like a maintain and that like a, the given map there. And here this is that like a yes these are the contour lines that how is here also there like a here, and next one here also there the gentle slope and like a steep slope there and like a yes plateau there. Every region also there calculated there the height of that like a places with the help of contour lines. Even plateau also, mountain also, gentle slope areas also there. Everything there to measure with the help of these contour lines. Next one, atlas. Atlas. What is the atlas? We know about that like a atlas. We find that like a number of that like a yes maps also. A collection of a map. A collection of a maps is called that like a atlas. In Atlas, we find that like a different type of that like a maps, geographical map, political map, and like a yes, physical features, and next one like a climates, and like a crapper, okay, states, and next one capital or district, or that like a mandal wise also there. Okay, so like this, different maps we find in Atlas also, Jai. We find in Atlas. So an Atlas is a collection of that like a maps, usually arranged according to that like a different themes. Open that like a yes, that like a yes, Atlas also, Jai. There is so many density maps also, and like a mountains map also there. And next one that like climatic condition maps also there. And next one that like a yes capitals. And next one that like a that desert area map also there. And next one that like a yes plains maps like this way. We find that like so many maps in that like a school atlas side. You can find the much useful information about that like a different places and use arrange the imagine of the life of the people living there. The life of the people living in like Arunachal Pradesh based on that information on that like some themes from the Atlas. Previously we have discussed why there is a yes Arunachal Pradesh there is a yes low density why the very few people they are living Arunachal Pradesh why there is a about that like a yes 1100 per square kilometer in that like a yes Bihar there is a variation between these two places based on facilities, water facilities, soil, good soil, climate also, and also that like a employment opportunities, facilities, and behind the history of that like a place also, there is so many features to attract that like a yes people also there. But some of the areas where there is no facilities, example of that like a yes Arunachal Pradesh. There is no proper facilities. It is completely hilly areas. That's why very few people per square kilometer, 17% we are finding Arunachal Pradesh. So this is that like a reading and analysis of maps. Reading and analysis of maps. Next one.